12 laps of the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya stand between Jorge Martin and the ultimate prize of being crowned MotoGP World Champion. Today could be Martin's date with destiny in Montmello as Pecco Bagnaia tries to take the rematch, rolling into a nerve-jangling final day decider. Will a marathon title fight be decided by a sprint? It's time for MotoGP. So the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, 4.66 kilometres in length, just under 2.9 miles. A challenging, technical, fast layout featuring 14 corners, 8 of them right, 6 of them left, 2 tricky left-handers as well, particularly through turn 2 and turn 5 in these cool, chilly mid-November temperatures. Long run, 355 kilometres an hour. The bike's at top speed down the start and finish straight, heartbreaking then into the first corner. There's been plenty of drama down there through the years. Overtaking hot spots aplenty in the 14 turns, in particular into that first corner, turn 5, turn 10. A good overtaking opportunity as well on the brakes. 1, 4 and 10, the most demanding braking points around this Circuito de Barcelona Catalunya on the outskirts of beautiful Barcelona. There are your overtaking hotspots, as mentioned, turns 1, 4, 5 and 10. Who'll be making the key moves as we stand towards finding out who will be our MotoGP World Champion in 2024. This is Mark Marquez on the latest Spargo back in May. So the MotoGP World Championship decided in a final round showdown after this sensational battle in Sepang between Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin. This was a race for the ages, an electrifying, a pulsating first 3 or 4 laps as the 2 top riders in the World Championship, our 2 remaining title contenders. The 2 heavyweights went toe-to-toe in what was an unforgettable Malaysian Grand Prix, 13 days ago now. But after 19 rounds and 38 races, it all comes down to the season finale. Jorge Martin or Pecco Bagnaia, who will put his name at the top of the Tower of the Champions after our last Grand Prix of the season. Martin has the advantage, 24 points clear of Pecco Bagnaia coming into this final Grand Prix. We've talked about it so much so far this weekend. 14 is the magic number for the Martinator. Is this the moment of truth in the rematch for the 26-year-old Spanish rider? Victory in the upcoming 12-lap TSO sprint here in beautifully sunny conditions on the outskirts of Barcelona, and we will have our new MotoGP World Champion. Pecco Bagnaia's reign will end here in Spain, although at the moment the high ground has been seized by the reigning world champion. He was fastest on Friday here in Barcelona, and crucially in a very important Q2 session this morning, it was Bagnaia that powered his factory Ducati to pole position. Matt Burton, Lewis Sotheby in the commentary box, Simon Crafar down in pit lane, Jorge Martin surrounded by friends, surrounded by family, surrounded by those he trusts inside the Prima Pamant Ducati garage, but soon it will all be down to Jorge Martin. So tantalisingly close to an historic achievement. Never in the modern 4-stroke MotoGP era has an independent team rider captured the Premier Class title. That's what lies in store for Jorge Martin. 4th place on the grid goes the Prima Pramac Racing rider as Bagnaia looks to delay the celebrations, as he looks to keep his hopes of a 3rd successive championship alive here in Barcelona. Lewis, as he mentioned, just 1 sprint left, 1 Grand Prix left, 2 top riders left standing. Martin versus Bagnaia. We can't wait for the rematch.
The most important sprint that we've ever seen in the 2-year history of this MotoGP sprint era. More have been won by Jorge Martin than any other rider over the last couple of seasons. 1 more this afternoon will see Jorge Martin achieve a lifelong dream and become MotoGP World Champion, the first independent in the MotoGP era to clinch the title. The evidence of today and of this weekend's so far, though, is that Pecco Bagnaia is not going to let that number 1 plate go without an almighty fight. Not only did he get his tactics spot on in qualifying this morning, in putting some bikes between himself and Jorge Martin on the grid, but his electric pace put him on pole position. Bagnaia, the favourite coming into this sprint. Martin knows that a sprint win today will secure the title, but he doesn't have to secure the title today.
Already gulping on the liquid here. This is where the equation sits. Jorge Martin will be our 2024 MotoGP World Champion if he outscores Bagnaia by more than 2 points in this sprint. 37 points left to fight for in this Marathon 2024 campaign, and it is all down to our final 2 races. Pecco Bagnaia has not outscored Jorge Martin by 24 points all season long. 21 more points he scored than Martin in Mugello after Martin's sprint crash in the Italian Grand Prix. He scored 20 points more than Martin in the Sachsenring after Martin's late Grand Prix crash. But he has not, at any stage this season, in our previous 19 rounds, taken away from Martin the points that he needs here this weekend in Barcelona. This is not in Bagnaia's hands. His destiny is out of his control. All he has to do, Lewis, must win the sprint this afternoon, must win the Grand Prix tomorrow. Hope that Martin slips up and hopes that there's some friendly rivals who can come and maybe help him retain the World Championship.
Well, Bagnaia got that in qualifying this morning. His future teammate, Marc Marquez, who was trying to help himself out, really, rather than helping Pecco Bagnaia, put himself on the front row of the grid. Aleix Espargaro, it appeared in qualifying, was spending much of it trying to help Jorge Martin. In the end, he got between Bagnaia and Martin on the grid, out-qualifying Martin, but not Bagnaia. The plan worked, Pecco Bagnaia said to Jack Appleyard in Parc Fermé at the end of qualifying. Not only did he take pole position, but he has 2 riders between himself and Jorge Martin. One of those you suspect won't be making life too difficult for Jorge Martin this afternoon, for Aleix Espargaro, but it's the pressure on the shoulders of Jorge Martin which will surely be his biggest adversary.
Let's not forget when we were here in Barcelona back in May in considerably hotter conditions in the early part of the summer, Pecco Bagnaia was leading the sprint on the last lap when he crashed out at turn 5. There was drama in our sprint contest here in Catalunya at the start of the year. 5 different riders led the 12-lapper back then. 3 of them, 5 different riders led, 3 of them crashed out of the lead, including Ralph Fernandez, Brad Binder and Pecco Bagnaia, who we have just mentioned. Aleix Espargaro, undefeated in a Catalunya Tissot sprint. Can he complete the hat-trick to say farewell to his home crowd, say farewell to full-time racing in MotoGP, and a hat-trick which will be most welcome, certainly, as far as his great friend Jorge Martin is concerned.
He said yesterday, Aleix Espargaro, that Jorge Martin does not need any help this weekend. It's certainly within Jorge Martin's powers this weekend to score those 14 points. That is him trying to stay as calm as he can. Much easier said than done, given what is on the line today and potentially tomorrow if he doesn't get the results he needs in this Saturday sprint. The best help you, as you say, Aleix Espargaro can give to Jorge Martin is to take the 12 maximum points. It limits the potential points return for Pecco Bagnaia this weekend, who surely needs nothing less than a double.
Adios is the message. Goodbye. A farewell. Certainly as a full-time racer at the end of this weekend for Aleix Espargaro, it is going to be very emotional. There'll be floods of tears inside that Aprilia garage tomorrow as they bid goodbye to El Capitano, the captain. Aleix Espargaro, of course, who took Aprilia back to the top step of the podium, took Aprilia to their first and only ever 1-2 here in Catalunya in 2023, followed home by Maverick Viñales. This is then early tire information from Michelin. Pecco Bagnaia initially told Michelin that he was running the medium front soft rear tire. As you can see, in the hottest conditions of the weekend so far, under blazing sunshine here in Barcelona, it's still very, very cool, of course. We're in sort of the mid-autumn period. Ambient temperatures only around 19, 20 degrees. But at the moment, our information is that Bagnaia was going for the hard front soft rear tyre for this sprint. You can just feel the tension, you can feel the pressure building, and that's just in the commentary box alone, as myself and Lewis potentially get set to call home a new world champion. Bagnaia, well, he only has one mission in Montmello to try and pull off the miracle at Montmello. He simply has to find a way to take a magnificent 7th sprint win of the season to keep the Prosecco on ice.
Yeah, Jorge Martin has something of a safety net if it goes wrong today in the sprint. Even if Bagnaia wins this sprint today and Martin scores nothing, Martin can still win the championship tomorrow by finishing on the podium, which is something he's done on a Sunday on 15 of the 19 occasions so far this season. The rider who has no safety net here is Pecco Bagnaia. One more mistake is the end of his title defence. Surely the mistake in Sepang was one error too many in that Saturday sprint. But if he makes another mistake today, then that is the end of that. What will concern Jorge Martin, I think, from here, is that if there was one circuit, I guess, on the calendar where you wouldn't want to turn one and a run to the first corner like this, when you've got a championship to defend, it's this one. Because it's such a long run down to the first corner. You're approaching the first corner here at as high a speed as you are at any turn one on the calendar. And we have seen, over the last 2 or 3 years, accidents and drama at that first corner if you get it wrong.
Consistency has been the buzzword all year for Jorge Martin. He has laid the foundations to be crowned world champion here today. 30 podiums in 38 races so far this season. He has scored 69 points more after 19 rounds this year than at the same stage last season. That's a huge leap forward of 61 points more he's collected in Grand Prix after 19 races. That has been where he has taken the huge step forward in performance. Bagnaia, we remind you, needs 24 points here in Catalunya this weekend at least, but only 2 times this year between himself and Jorge Martin has there been a bigger point swing. 26 in Portimao, 28 in Aragon. Crucially, they were both in favour of Jorge Martin after Bagnaia crashed at an instance with Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez in those 2 Grand Prix. Well, we're feeling the strain and the stress of it in the commentary box. What's it like to be right in the heart of the action, right in the heart of Prima Ducati as they stand on the brink of history? Let's go down to Simon Crowfoot, who joins Prima Ducati boss Gino Borsoli. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yeah, good afternoon. Gino, first of all, thank you for talking to us on such an important moment. Give us your thoughts, please.
Well, after this morning, we understood something more compared to yesterday. I think the feeling with the bike is better. We are quite comfortable, so we need to decide the front tire. Still not decided yet. Apart of that, fork is okay.
This depends on temperature, does it, front tire?
Yeah. It depends on temperature for sure. It's the condition compared to yesterday are a bit better. So let's decide now and let's see.
Sorry, I have to ask you. You've told Jorge to just play it safe, bring it home, or fight like he normally does?
Well, a big fight, we don't need a big fight, of course, but you have to do like always, not maybe like Malaysia, for sure, during the race, but you have to pay attention to the first corner, and if it's possible, stay in front. Otherwise, even finish behind Pecco, it's okay.
Gino, sincere good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Thanks to Gino Borsoli. Good of him to talk to us in such a high-pressure situation like it is down on that Tissot sprint grid. But just seeing, as we heard from Gino there, still undecided, aren't they, about the front tyre choice for Jorge Martin. You have to admire him. He went toe-to-toe, a full send, maximum risk in that epic early battle with Bagnaia at the Sepang Grand Prix in Malaysia. It just showed how much Martin was willing to stick it all on the line to be just Spain's 5th ever MotoGP World Champion. Great to see the bike parks packed. Of course, we are racing here in Barcelona, but we are racing for Valencia. All those closely connected to that beautiful city in southeast Spain. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those affected by the recent devastating floods. There has been a lot of fundraising efforts for the relief fund that have been going on this weekend in Barcelona. They will continue to go on in the next days and weeks. You can use the QR code in the bottom left-hand corner of your screens. Donate here to the Red Cross relief efforts. As now then, Pecco Bagnaia, he knows the score. He knows he simply has to win this 12-lap Tissot sprint. Just maybe that little devil on his shoulder reminding him about what happened on the last lap here in the sprint back in May. What about Marc Marquez? You have to look at that, your other riders, Lewis. The likes of Aleix Espargaro, Marc Marquez on that front row, Pedro Acosta and Frankie Morbidelli also in the mix. This is a high-pressure, uncomfortable situation when you're fighting for the title.
Yes, so many vested interests on this grid, and they're all racing for their own results. Jorge Martin then starts from fourth on the grid. He said after Pecco Bagnaia crashed in the sprint last time out in Malaysia that his best way of staying focused was just to go flat out and push as hard as he can. He feels when he backs off, that is when the mistakes creep in. Well, the task seems fairly simple, doesn't it, for Pecco Bagnaia? He has to win this sprint and tomorrow's Grand Prix. What are his chances? Team manager Davide Tardozzi is on the grid with Simon.
He is, Davide. Pecco's been super impressive under such huge pressure the last couple of races. Can you tell us what's the plan today?
Yeah, no other plan than try to win and keep the championship alive till tomorrow. But in the end, Jorge Martin shows that he has a huge potential to be with him and fight for the winning too. So we'll see what it will be Jorge's attitude. But again, we will try to win the sprint to keep alive the championship.
Any concerns other than, for example, tyre choices, who may do what, start, try and get away?
I think that on the back everybody will be on soft, while on the front somebody on medium and somebody else on the hard, but it's just a matter of riding style.
Thank you, good luck.
Got to say, thanks for that interview, Simon. Both Gino Borso and Davide Tardozzi certainly exuding calm right now. As we get the special presentation, this is the medal ceremony for the FIM Mini-GP Champions Prize Giving, an event taking place here on this week at Motorland Aragon. Congratulations to Alvaro Lucas, the FIM Mini-GP 190cc champion. Potentially some stars of the future there, looking at the stars of the present in the MotoGP World Championship. As we are, about 8 minutes or so away from lights out, from what should be, what promises to be, a nail-biting sprint, but a sensational sprint as well. So much on the line. Well, it's all on the line. It's now or never, isn't it, for Pecco Bagnaia? First time in the MotoGP era that the World Championship has been decided at the final round for 3 consecutive years. 2022, Bagnaia versus Fabio Quartararo. 2023, Bagnaia versus Martin. And we are here for the Battle of Barcelona. We are here for the rematch. 2024, Martin versus Bagnaia. 24 points. It sounds like a comfortable buffer. It sounds like a big margin. But right now, Jorge Martin will feel like it's a 4-point advantage. He will be full of nerves. He will be full of butterflies. Just got to keep telling himself, just do what you've been doing for 19 rounds and 38 races so far this season. That is what has put you in this position to win the MotoGP World title.
The 2 previous title deciders, of course, in the last 2 years. Pecco Bagnaia led the championship coming into both of those finales. The first of which, of course, didn't have a sprint. Last year's did, and Pecco Bagnaia, of course, is playing catch-up this time. He's the rider who needs snookers. He's the rider who needs some help from elsewhere. He has made it pretty clear that he's not intent on playing any games over the course of this sprint. He's just intent on winning and hoping he gets help from elsewhere.
Aprilia could well be welcoming a new world champion into their ranks on Tuesday at the post-race test as Jorge Martin moves on to an RSGP. At the moment, all their thoughts about Aleix Espargaro continuing his sprint domination here in Barcelona. He goes from second place on the grid. Let's hear the thoughts of Aprilia boss, Paolo Bonora, who's beside me.
Yes, Paolo, really would like to hear about the potential you believe your riders have. And also, we all know about how close Aleix is with Jorge, and he's on the front row.
Yeah, for sure, 55 milliseconds, so was nothing. He did an unbelievable job in his last race, so we are so happy about his result. And also at the end of his career with us, he put all his effort on to make the best lap he can do. So we are so happy and we thank him a lot. And despite a long an hard braking on corner 10, Maverick achieved the sixth place. But he did also him a very good lap. We hope for his race pace for this sprint.
And Aleix, does he have the race pace as well as that fast lap?
Yeah, it is necessary to understand what happened during the first 2 laps, because it is so demanding wearing for the tire, and it is necessary to manage, but for sure it is his last sprint, so for sure he will put all the 100% of his energy on.
Thank you, Paolo.
Thanks all.